Hi all, welcome to the YouTube channel Learn, Implement, Grow. In this tutorial, we shall learn about Oracle 21c SQL character data types, namely CHAR and VARCHAR2. CHAR is a fixed length data type, which means irrespective of the size required to store a given value, a full quota is consumed. You can define a column of type char without having to declare any size to it. In such cases, a default size of 1 byte is allocated, whereas the maximum size of 2000 bytes can be allocated to char data typed column. Coming to varchar2, it is a variable length character data type. In case of varchar2, it is mandatory to define the size for a varchar2 column. A minimum of 1 byte and a maximum standard size of 4000 bytes or maximum extended size of 32,767 bytes can be allocated for a varchar2 typed column. In Oracle, we have one initialization parameter named max underscore string underscore size. You can use this initialization parameter to set the standard or extended size for a varchar2 data type. We shall learn about these two data types with a little hands-on. Let us create a table named tab1 with a column in it of type char. So initially I'll show you how a default size is going to be allocated to column of type char, right? So here in this case I have created a table, right? And let us describe it. And you can see that sname, which is defined with the data type char, is being allocated 1 byte of memory, right? So which means I can store values of length 1 like that. Got it? And let's say if I try to allocate more, it will give us an error. So by default, even if you don't allocate any memory in numbers to char data type, by default, the size of 1 byte will be allocated. As char is a fixed length data type, irrespective of the length of the character value you are going to store, a full quota of the size is going to be allocated. For example, I'm going to create one more table here. This time, I'm going to assign size 10 to this column, right? Now, I'll try to insert some value within the size limits, right? Like for example, I'll assign Oracle. Okay, I'll insert one more row and try to allocate all the 10 characters. In both the cases, a full quota of size 10 will be utilized. So let us see that. We have a function named length, which will help us find out how much length is being occupied. You can see in both the cases, that is in case of Oracle, And also in case of Oracle Corporation, size 10 is been allocated. So this is for very reason why we call a char data type as a fixed length data type. Now let us learn about varchar or varchar2. Varchar or varchar2 is a variable length data type, which means irrespective of the size that you define with, it is going to consume that much memory equal to the string assigned. So initially, I am going to create a table with single column of type varchar or varchar2. Though you define a table with a column of type varchar, it will be converted to varchar2 since varchar has been deprecated. So let us see this. I'm going to create one more table, sname, and this time I am going to define with varchar with some size 10. Okay. Now when I describe this particular table, you can see though I have defined this column with varchar data type, varchar2 is actually considered to define the column of the table. Now let us assign some values, insert some values into this column. So I'll insert Oracle and Oracle Corp. Okay. Now let us see the length. Select length of its name from the table name. Okay. You can clearly see though the size allocated is 10, it has still occupied only 6, which is equal to the length of Oracle. But whereas in this case, which is Oracle core and its length is around 10, it is 10 actually, all the 10 units are occupied. Just make sure that the length of the string you are going to insert do not exceed the maximum size allocated. So it goes to show that irrespective of the size that you define with, a value stored in a varchar2 will consume only that much memory which is required. Like in this case, though I have allocated size 10, it has consumed only 6 since Oracle needs 6 bytes of memory. Also, let us see by defining a table with a column of type varchar2 without any size. So this time I'm not going to allocate any size to it. So is it possible? Answer is no. You can see. You can define a column of type char without having to define the size. But when it comes to defining a column with varchar2 data type, you will have to define the size. So size is mandatory. Mentioning the size is mandatory if you are defining a column of type varchar2. So that is the major difference between char and varchar2. Char is a fixed length data type where irrespective of the length of the string, full quota of size is going to be consumed. But whereas when it comes to varchar2, irrespective of the size, with which it is defined, it consumes only that much memory which is required. In both the cases, we should not exceed the maximum size. Trying to exceed the maximum size will raise an error. Okay, thank you.